Thematic essays are graded on a scale of 1 to 5, and most of the points come from the body paragraphs. So you know that you have to write about 2 causes and 2 effects for your essay on Tuesday. The 2 effects can be in any order, as long as there's 2. You could have 1 social and 1 political. You could have 2 social. As long as you have 2, that's all the Regents cares about. So once you've organized your essay, and we've worked on that before, what you're going to work on this time is making sure that you have facts, examples, and details. That's what we've been collecting this whole week. And the reason why is because when you see a 3 versus a 5, a 3 is the way we talk about things in class sometimes. So for example, in class we might say the Industrial Revolution was in Great Britain because they had money and they wanted to build factories that made cloth. This person is using those details. They use capital instead of money. They're talking about investment of profits, and instead of the word clothing, they're using the word textiles. They're also judging things by saying things are superb, which is good. They're using definitions from social studies, the enclosure movement, and they even use people's names who were responsible for this, Townshend. This is what you're aiming for when you're trying to get a 4 out of 5. You're trying to get those details, and you guys have them this time. So for example, when you write about your cause paragraphs this time, we talked about in the video how it says, knock knock, it's the United States. To turn that into that 4 or 5 language, you want to be able to tell me, when did the knock come? Who was knocking on the door? What's in the background that makes it so that they have to open up trade? They can't stay closed. So now you're taking that way of explaining the story to yourself or to a kid, and now you're going to start putting in those facts and details. They had to sign the Treaty of Kanagawa. This happened in 1854. And that's what moves those essays from a 3 to a 4 or a 5. Even with your effects, we talked a lot about the social effects of how people's dress changed. If you can tell me about how people who were dressed traditionally with the traditional sandals and the traditional Japanese clothing, they were considered unenlightened, but if they changed to Western clothing, they were considered to be enlightened. You're telling me something specific from a cartoon, from a time period. And again, that will help you to get those 4 out of 5s. So over the weekend, go back and look and think about what are the details that you can see either in the slides or in the charts and graphs or from the information that's on the sheet that we just handed back to you that can help you to show how things changed. So the Japanese go from a slide where Matthew Perry has the black ships and they have to allow them in, to here we have a Japanese battleship which is victorious and is sinking a Russian battleship. Those are those same details that will help you with your effects paragraph. Last but not least, don't forget, if you're talking about causes, make sure that you tell us about how they were able to do this even though they had very little coal, that they have no iron or steel, but they still were able to make these changes. And again, this will help you with those 4 out of 5s. Please email us if you have any questions over the weekend, and I hope this was helpful.